Hey everybody, John Prusak here from Snowgoer Magazine. We're looking at some of the 2026 snowmobiles that are being unveiled. This is a Ski-Doo Renegade X 900 Ace Turbo R. So the platform will be familiar to Ski-Doo fans. Renegades now, of course, are primarily four-strokes. They have a little bit lower set front end than their MXZ counterparts. What's different about this for 2026 can be found right down here. MXZ fans will recognize that spindle. That is from the RAS RX that was unveiled for 2025 on Ski-Doo MXZ models. It has the taller spindle, the wider spread A-arm, some of the changes in the geometry all over. It really worked great on the MXZ, so we're not surprised to see it come to the Renegade. There are differences though. This isn't just a straight bring over. What Ski-Doo did is, first of all, this is not the Pilot RX ski. That's the Pilot X. Now, when they did that in 2025 in MXZs, like an in-season model would keep the Pilot X ski, a spring model, an X or an XRS, would get the new Pilot RX ski that had certainly a different keel and a different setup overall. We were real frank. The RAS RX front end made a big difference. The RAS RX front end with the Pilot RX skis made a huge difference. And so we were big fans of, even if you bought an in-season model, a Blizzard or whatever, to go out and get the right skis. Well, here, Ski-Doo said, no, in this setup, you don't need the ski. And after testing them, I tend to agree. Why is that? Well, first of all, as I said, the Renegade sits a little bit lower. Second of all, it's got the big four-stroke engine under the hood, which adds some weight to the front end. So to make it easier to steer, these skis work just fine, and it's not sloppy. It's got really good handling. Ski-Doo also altered the setup up front by just millimeters. I'll try to hold the phone and point here the best I can. So this point is a little bit different, how the steering arm comes in, and the exact point where the ski mounts to the spindle is a tiny bit different. That was all aimed at giving this machine lighter steering than the MXZ, figuring that the Renegade buyer would really prefer a lighter steering feel and maybe doesn't need the razor sharp, if you're going like your hair's on fire, handling like the MXZ guy. And I think they're right. Overall, it's a well-appointed machine. One other change for 2026, and you can kind of see it here. See those these marks right here? That's telling me where some other snowmobiles are. This their gauge not only is getting better with the mapping, but now it has a group ride function. Tell you what, when we were on a ride today, and we were in a group, and we got a little bit separated, that sure was handy. You knew your friends were coming. You could look down at the gauge. Oh, they're coming around the next turn. And what's interesting about that is you can track members of your own group, but you can also see other Ski-Doo riders who have this gauge coming at you or elsewhere in your area. Whether you're a trail rider or an off-trail rider, that thing can really come in handy. So this being an X model, comes with the KYB standard shocks, does not have piggybacks, has a mid-height window. Like we said, the gauge is on this particular model. That's the R-Motion X rear suspension. The 900 Ace Turbo R engine makes about 180 horsepower. For those who really like to wick it up, but it can also be a fine sled for just cruising.